Big fluff.
I think it's lipstick.
It's not my shade.
Don't go yet, Danny. You'll have tea.
Daddy, oh, Daddy! It was her! It was her! It was her!
Danny, what do you mean?
Wendy?
Jack, you can't think that
Wendy?
Jack, I was in here sketching. I fell asleep. I woke up from your shouting. I would never.
I know you would never. It's not nice to be accused, is it?
Hello again. I'm Joel Murphy.
And I'm Andy McIntyre.
And this is Silver Linings Playback, the podcast where we watch maligned movies and we find their silver linings.
And it is the second week of October, and it is the second week that we're talking about Mick Garris's 1997 The Shining, and we're talking about episode 2 this time. This is our first foray into miniseries, and this one is the second act of the 3-act Shining. That's not really a 3-act structure story, but Mick Garris tried it, by God.
Do you think this is the longest that anyone's talked about that movie? The fact that we're back at it for a second week? That I feel like even in 97, I don't know if people were talking about it that long.
I don't think Mick Garris has talked about it that long.
He's like, I did what?
Wait, why did I make this? Oh, Stephen King is a good friend. That's right.
Did I make it before the Kubrick one? After? Oh,
17 years later? What was I doing?
By then, it was clearly a classic.
Yes, it was in the pantheon of horror movies by that point, right?
Yeah, again, I will try to, talk about this movie specifically as much as possible, but it is always the biggest reason to malign it is just that it's in the shadow of a great movie. And again, it's like I had that again this week where, he's going in. Well, first of all, by the way, don't want to call this movie out. They got the room number wrong. 217. Just horrible attention to detail. But yeah, he goes into 217 instead of 237. But you're like, this is the scene with the lady in the bathtub. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with this version, but it's not beautiful cinematography shot by a genius.
No. Yeah, it's definitely not. Does Jack have a scene with the lady in the bathtub in this one? No, right?
No, because we don't see it. He goes to the room, because it does the beats of then Danny has the bruises and Jack has the room key and he goes up to the room, but we don't see what happens in the room.
That's right. I'm amazed I didn't ask this last week. Have you read the book?
I have not read the book. Yeah.
Okay. I have. And so the pitch of this movie's existence was Stephen King's dissatisfaction with the adaptation of The Shining. And objectively, it's not an accurate adaptation. I don't think that Kubrick would argue that he was going for an accurate adaptation.
Don't think he would care.
I don't think it mattered to him.
No, Kubrick, very much viewed all source material as source material to be adapted and to do whatever he wanted. I don't think he faithfully adapted anything.
No, because almost literally everything that he did was based on a book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And in almost every case, the book had a different title. The Shining being the exception.
Yeah, usually different titles, and then often wildly different. Dr. Strangelove, a good example of very different from the source material.
Yeah, it's based on a very serious Cold War adventure novel called Red Alert.
Yeah.
Eyes Wide Shut is based on a book called The Dream Story by Arthur Schnitzler, and it's not that close. Set in a different country, for one.
Different time? Isn't it a different time period too?
Different time period, yeah. Because Dream Story by Arthur Schnitzler is set contemporarily in 50s Austria.
Right. Yeah. So it's all of the particulars are very different.
Whereas this is set in contemporary New York City for when the movie was made. And yeah, the names change obviously to Americanize them, etc. You know, there's still the orgy, there's still that bit, but you know,
Yeah.
it's probably close. Like Eyes Wide Shut is probably closer to Dream Story than The Shining is to The Shining. That's an objective truth. Having read and seen all 4 versions of those
Yeah, they cut the orgy.
in The Shining.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I've read the book. The book's great, like phenomenal. Maybe I think you can make a very strong argument for it being Stephen King's best novel.
You've obviously never read Bag of Bones, but
No, I have. I like many teenagers in the 90s, I went through a big Stephen King phase.
the funny thing is I have read quite a few Stephen King novels. I've just never read The Shining, but I also, it's kind of the same. I did the same thing with Fight Club, where it's like I saw the movie first and then everyone was like, well, the movie and the book are so much different. And then I was like, well, I don't want to read the book then.
I would argue that that's less true of Fight Club than it is The Shining.
Well, what's interesting, and I think the key difference, and we talked a little bit about last week of how we ended up with this miniseries, is that I think the biggest difference is that Chuck Palahniuk watched David Fincher's Fight Club and went, yeah, that's better.
It's like, yeah, he did it. No, it is a short, because like everyone's like, oh, the book's better. Like that's not what they mean. The book is just more, is usually the case, and it fills in more gaps, and it you know has the power of imagination and things like that. But usually narratively they're close. No, but Fight Club is narratively better in movie form than in the book, and Chuck Palahniuk agrees.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And it was influential on him because then he started writing stuff for Helena Bonham Carter. He was very he thought she really nailed playing Marla
Singer.
Yeah. But Stephen King went the other route, and he did not like what Kubrick did.
And I get it. Like I don't know that Stanley Kubrick's story is so different you can't even call one better or one worse. You know what I mean? Like Fight Club is similar enough that I feel like you can definitively say that the movie version is better. I think that's also true of the book High Fidelity. I think the movie is better. There's things that the movie does that are just narratively smarter and better.
My hottest take, Lord of the Rings, the movie is better than the book.
So I'm not going to agree with that. But what I will say is the movie is so good, you never need to read the books again.
Big Tom Bombadil guy over here. This guy loves Tom Bombadil. He's
Love me some Tom Bombadil. Listen,
I just look.
It's not even Tom Bombadil. It's really I'm a Goldberry fan. Like we always talk about Tom Bombadil getting cut. We never mention that Goldberry gets cut too.
Also, big knowing everything every character ate all the time. Guy, big description of trees guy.
Love a good leaf description. Let me tell you.
I think the cuts were wise. And then I'm all for like this is where I lose everyone, even the people that agreed with me. I think the theatrically released version of Lord of the Rings is the best version. I don't even want the extended editions. I think there was a lot to trim.
I do prefer the extended versions. I will say, especially for the Fellowship, because I don't think there's enough like added and changed in Return of the King or Two Towers that like really make a huge difference. But there's like some things in Fellowship that I think make a little bit of a better version.
I do think if people don't know, I think the funniest example with Pippin and Scotty, right? Those are the two.
Yeah, Scotty and Pippin.
Yeah. I remember like in the movie, it's like they're stealing, I think, carrots or something from a farm, and they just are like, oh, what are you guys doing? I guess we're on the adventure. In the book, they spend 8 months selling their house before going on the journey and being like, I don't know if I'm gonna go. And
in the book, there's a big conspiracy that Sam and Mary and Pippin and Farmer Maggot and a bunch of other people are doing because they see that Frodo's being weird and they're like, let's figure out why. And then, yeah, it's No, the movie gets to the call to adventure much quicker, and it's objectively the right choice.
Well, and also just because it's like, it's a weird move. And look, I mean, they were figuring, when Tolkien was writing, we didn't know how to make stories good yet. Like nobody had done the hero's journey studying yet. We didn't really understand story structure. There were no classes that you could take.
There was no blueprint for writing fantasy. Tolkien kind of made the first blueprint for writing fantasy.
But it is a weird thing to be like, this ring controls all the other rings, and it's the most important thing in all of the universe, and it must be taken to this mountain and thrown into the lava and destroyed in like a year or so. No rush.
Well, they weren't sure that it was the ring until much later, until Gandalf spends like literally 16 years researching stuff.
But that's what I mean. It's like the opposite of a ticking clock. Like whatever.
Yes.
Like that's the stakes in the Lord of the Rings, the books.
Yeah, no, they're like the movies. I think The Lord of the Rings is worth reading because it is fantastically written. It's a seminal work of literature for the 20th century. It's an important book in the English language, just full stop. The Hobbit's better. I said
way better. The Hobbit's way better.
The Hobbit's better, and I don't care.
Read The Hobbit. That's the thing. The Hobbit's better, and the Hobbit book is better than any adaptation, and the animated version is better than the live action.
Yeah, all of those things are true. No, The Hobbit is maybe a perfect adventure story.
It's really great. Yeah.
Like I will, and I love Lord of the Rings. Like it is, I read it. I've read it like dozens of times. Like I love the books. I've not read it since the movies came out because I can just watch the movies now, and the movies are great.
They really are.
But we're talking about The Shining.
I think that was obvious.
Yeah. So all that to say, The Shining, this miniseries still cuts out a lot of what made the books, or at least so far, because I don't remember the third episode that well, and I have not rewatched it yet in honor of like keeping consistent with the episodes. The book like went into a lot of history of the Overlook and like why it was haunted. And there's a lot more of like background of, the dad falling into further and further obsession with the Overlook. Because in the book, he abandons writing his play to write a history of the hotel. And that really hasn't come up yet.
Well, they mentioned that. They did mention that in this.
Well, he's abandoned. Did they say it was to write the history though? Or is he just abandoned?
Well, Danny said it. So we didn't really see that that's what he was doing. But like, it's a throwaway line that Danny has,
right?
Like that he's figured it out.
But there's like you find out about a little bit more about Grady, who just shows up at the very end of this episode, and like it's just I feel like what happened in the first two episodes probably should have just been the first episode of the miniseries.
Well, what's interesting, too, is when we did last week's episode, we were praising the idea, like I believe it was one of our silver linings, that Steven Weber, unlike Jack Nicholson, was really kind of slow playing the madness, where it was like Jack Nicholson starts at a 10 and he goes to an 11.
He goes to like a 17, let's be honest here.
Throughout the course of the movie. But Weber like really does start out as like a dad that wants to fix his life.
And
but I will say that the jump from part 1 to part 2 was a little jarring when I started watching this one, where I was like, wait, he's this crazy already? How did he get this crazy?
He kind of falls off a cliff. Yeah.
And I didn't know that it felt earned in this, where it was just like I thought they were doing such a good job slow playing it, that he was like really deranged and really terrible to Danny. And it just felt like out of nowhere a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, we'll get to the silver linings. I think there are silver linings of this episode. They're definitely enjoyable parts. But I think that is like to foreshadow. I think Steven Weber plays deranged very well. It's just not earned.
Well, it's just if you're gonna, and again, that was our words. But if the point is like, well, we want to show a contrast between where he starts and where he ends, it didn't feel like it was on a gradual curve anymore.
No, it's a little too much of a light switch instead of a dimmer. Like,
that
is definitely true. But yeah, so the basic plot of this episode is the hotel starts getting to both Danny and Jack. That the ghosts start being more and more real, and that Danny can't just close his eyes and make them go away.
Terrible advice he received from Dick Halloran. Just like does not seem to help at all.
More like Halloran Dick, am I right? Because he's a dick for giving him bad advice.
No.
Good night, everybody.
No.
Listen, I'm going to stand by it.
No, I can't abide this.
Listen, it's fine. You can be wrong, but that was gold. Get in the comments, people. Let us know whether Halloran Dick was.
We had a good run. I think people are going to be upset that we don't do part 3. That we just call it. Right.
We just end the podcast here at our first egregious disagreement.
But I think it's the right move. I think it's for the best.
Listen, because you can't admit the presence of genius. I get it. It's fine. Stay tuned next week for an episode of Mackin' with Andy Mac here on the Peak Sloth Podcast Network.
I hope you do part 3 of The Shining on Mackin' with Andy Mac.
I'm gonna.
Hey, ladies, my Dick Halloran. Get in the comments.
Listen, I'm gonna have Mick Garris on. He's gonna be there to talk about it. It's gonna be great.
It's a good get.
Yeah. But no, Dick Halloran did give terrible advice about close your eyes and go away, because that didn't work. Now, to be fair, Dick didn't have any way of knowing that.
Right. I want to. So because you read the book, like, tell me if I'm tracking this, because. And I will say that, like, having watched the Kubrick Shining 1,000 times and feeling like I know that movie really well, but yeah, not as great on the source material. But like, is the idea that, you know, Dick also has The Shining, but Danny has it stronger. And so that's why, like, things are going more out of control because the hotel is responding to Danny's powers. And so Dick's advice works for him, but not for Danny because Danny is so much more powerful.
Accurate.
Okay. I thought so, but I just wanted to say that out loud.
Yep. No, that is objectively true. And then it's also affecting Jack because he has a version of The Shining that he's not really aware of.
More like the dimming, am I right? You know, you can't admit genius. And I think that's the problem. And that's why we're ending the show.
Good. Now we're back to even.
Okay. You know what? Now we can keep doing the show, I think.
Good. Oh, thank goodness. Oof. I was worried there for a second because
I know.
You know, the manosphere podcast space is not a great spot to exist in. So I'm trying to get away, trying to distance myself from Mackin' with Andy Mac.
Oversaturated these days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that Tony Hinchcliffe and Andrew Schultz are doing too much.
Yeah. When are you going to Riyadh? Like, is that?
Oh, I'm day 3, actually.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm also going to be a special guest ring announcer at WrestleMania 44.
That's great. You're just going to stay. You're just going to do the show from Riyadh. Yep,
I'm moving to Riyadh. I'm going to teach remotely. It's going to be great.
Yeah, really excited for you.
Yeah, they're going to Skype me into class every day, and they're just going to have a proctor there to watch the kids. It's going to be awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, so the basic plot is, and the supernatural nature of the hotel starts coming up. Jack starts experiencing some supernatural events. Danny gets attacked and physically harmed by the woman in room 217. And then Jack sabotages the CB radio, sabotages the snowmobile that could get them away, and it's a big old mess.
Which all those big
Overlook
major
Hotel.
plot points happen in the Kubrick version. Like at least those beats do. But also, yeah, the other thing with Danny getting bruised by the woman in the 217 is that then Wendy thinks that Jack has harmed him again because in the past Jack broke Danny's arm when he was drunk and he grabbed him.
Yeah.
Roughly. So she assumes that Jack is drinking again because he's acting like he was when he was drinking, and that he's harming Danny again. Also, you forgot the other subplot to this episode, which they spend a lot of time on, which is Rebecca de Mornay is Rebecca de Horneff, and she really wants to get laid, and Jack is not interested at all.
Which, listen, 1997 Rebecca de Mornay, if you're saying no, it's clear that the hotel's haunted.
Yeah. I also, by the way, I did want to clarify. I meant to do this last week, and then we got some cards and letters from fans, and I just want to make it clear which Rebecca de Mornay we're talking about, because there were two famous Rebecca de Mornays in the 90s, and I just want to clarify, it's not this one.
You get your toilet book out of here, and I won't jump over this counter and punch you in the brain.
Right.
Not her.
Not that Rebecca de Mornay.
Yeah, it's the other one, the lesser of the two.
I mean, listen, when you're right, you're right. But yeah, it is. Yeah, it's not the greatest one-off character in Seinfeld history.
Two off
that's right,
character. She also comes back for the Muffin Top episode.
That's right.
Top of the muffin to you.
Top of the muffin to you.
But yeah, she's in that episode is the rickshaw episode, and George is trying to return his toilet book to her. But then she comes back for the, because they try to give the muffin stumps to the homeless shelter, and she once again gets upset.
Because they don't, they're homeless. They're not, just pathetic. They deserve full muffins.
They keep asking, where are the tops? Yeah. But not that Rebecca de Mornay, the other one.
Yes, the other Rebecca de Mornay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's also, very horny for Steven Weber. And Steven Weber isn't horny back, which doesn't track for Steven Weber either. No,
I've never seen Steven Weber play not horny. His default setting is horny.
I mean, listen, Brian Hackett, pretty horny.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if it was Joe, which I think goes to our theory that they might have meant to hire Tim Daly. Yeah. I still think that theory's on the table.
It's not wrong.
But yeah, those scenes though, because Rebecca de Mornay is doing she's in a negligee, and she's doing it I have a thing that needs to be fixed in the hotel. I need a furnace stoked.
I have some pressure that needs to be released.
Yeah, and he's just gotta read about murders.
They murdered a gangster here. And you're not going to tell me that? It was years ago.
It would have been funny if she continued to be horny. Yeah, tell me about it.
Did he get stabbed? But yeah, so that's the basic plot of the episode. And yeah, I feel like not a lot happened in this episode.
Yeah. Well, also then at the end, Danny is playing outside and the topiaries start coming to life.
Yes, for the second time.
Yeah. Yes. But they seem like they're coming at him, that he's in some kind of jeopardy at the end. And it's snowing. I think you kind of alluded to that, but the snow is getting worse.
Yes, it's been snowing the whole time. And Rebecca de Mornay wants to leave. And Steven Weber very rationally says, no, we would die if we tried to leave in the snowstorm.
Well, and also he sabotaged all the things that would allow them to leave.
Well, that's also true, too. But even without that, he was still not wrong that they would die if they tried to leave.
Well, and also his career would die because this is his last chance to do anything.
Yes. Well, not according to his dad that comes over the radio and tells him they just want you working at a quick stop in California and not following your dreams of being a writer.
Oh, also, Jack gets kind of weirdly racist when he yells at Wendy about migrant workers.
Yes.
Because he's like, I'm not going to be like them. And it's that's his dad comes through there.
Yes. I don't know. I can't think of anything else specifically to malign other than this whole miniseries is paced bizarrely because there's a lot to pack into that last episode.
Yeah, it is kind of all saving it for the last episode. But yeah, I mean, I think those are kind of the major things. I think just the shadow of the original. So like when you're doing scenes that are in that movie, like the bathtub scene, which is one of the most famous, it looks very TV movie. The makeup and stuff on the woman was not the best, No, like
it wasn't terrible, but it was like
it was kind of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, like vampire effects.
Yeah, it looked very like additive that they just like packed more spirit gum applications and stuff instead of like sort of the desiccated corpse that was in the other ones, like was in the original and like what it should have looked like.
It looks like they went to Spirit Halloween and just were like, yeah, that'll work.
Yeah. Scary lady costume. It's a little Evil Dead is what it is.
Yes, that's good.
And I don't mean that in a good way.
No, like the first one that they made for $70,000.
Yeah. I'll swallow your soul. But I'm ready to pivot.
Let's pivot.
Yay, pivoting. Again, I mean, we kind of said it already, but Steven Weber does even though like the descent is a little rushed, deranged Steven Weber, he does a really good job.
The scenes where he's starting to get really frustrated with Danny are really good. And also, like, it is good because he's accusing Danny of destroying the radio, which he did. And we saw him do.
The audience knows that he did it too.
Right. But it's like he does a good job of conveying that he is not aware that he did it. Like, he truly doesn't remember that it was him.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of a weird choice that they didn't. Actually, no, I'm kind of talking myself into thinking it was a good idea that like he then sees that that he discovers the same time as Wendy that the snowmobile has been sabotaged. They didn't show him sabotaging it. That was like a neat touch. And another thing, like I thought, like one of the better bits of eeriness is when he takes the cover off of the snowmobile and there's a croquet mallet and a little letter from Grady.
Yeah.
Like that was like a nice touch. That was like a good job of like showing and not telling the power of the hotel. Like that was really well done.
Yes. I also did think it was a good scene where when Danny comes down and he has the bruises and Wendy thinks that Jack did it, then we see a flash of the woman in 217. And what Danny says is something like, no, it was her. And then Jack looks at Wendy and does a like, was it you? Did you? And he starts accusing her and she's like, no, I would never. And then he's like, I know you wouldn't, but see how it feels. And I was like, that was pretty good. Like
right there. Right there.
Like that's a good descent into madness, like anger scene.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that completely. Danny getting pulled back into the room is a solid jump scare too.
Yes. Yeah.
Like really like well done. I feel like in the original version that was a cut to commercial too. In like the TV broadcast.
That would be a good, yeah.
I feel like that he gets yanked in and then they go to commercial right away. So it's a nice little commercial cliffhanger. Because I feel like, again, I know we're in the silver linings portion, but I feel like the episodes end at weird points both times.
Yeah, it's very clear that they needed it to be a specific length. And like you said, it's not neatly broken up into 3 parts. So I think they just had to go like, I don't know, or this is how far we can get in the story. And then something to get you to watch tomorrow.
Yeah. But no, I think, I think that's all like a little cheesy, but the jump scare of him getting pulled back into the room is really well done. I think because we'll see in the next episode how like dumb and bad the moving topiaries look. The Weeping Angels version that they did in the scene with Jack when he's out like cleaning things up and snowshoeing, like that is effective.
Yeah, well, we already got some of how bad the CG ones look at the end when they were moving.
Yeah, and I mean, that was one of the, like, I think that if Kubrick thought he could make it look good, he would have done topiaries instead of a hedge maze. And I think that was even said as much that that the reason they did the hedge maze is because the topiaries wouldn't look good.
Yeah.
And that, hedge maze, they made the hedge maze pretty scary. So
It's great. I mean, the hedge maze is, very effective.
But yeah, no, I thought the scene, and especially because like eventually everything goes back to normal with the topiary. So you kind of are like, wait, is he going insane? Did it really happen? There's like that bit of dramatic irony that's played with that scene with Jack. I think and Steven Weber gives a good frightened performance there too.
Yeah. Well, again, I think there's more of that too, of like just that there's more of a range to his performance. So you get more of him, like he's confused by what's happening, you know, like less like he's not just all in on the crazy. Like the hotel is really messing with his head as well.
Right. Cause like Jack Nicholson, he's an all-timer. He's one of the best. But in The Shining, he's like, yeah, I'll go crazy and kill my family. Sounds good. Yeah.
Don't mind if I do.
Don't. No TV and no beer. Make Homer something.
Go crazy.
Don't mind if I do.
I do. That joke is great. I know we're not doing Silver Linings for the Simpsons parody of The Shining, but
because it's all Silver Linings. That is, I still think that's the best Treehouse of Horror. It
is. Yeah. Yes. But when Marge says like what he's typed on the typewriter will give me a window into his madness, and it just says feeling fine, and then the lightning crashes and you see all the yeah. No, that's it's God, that the Shining is perfect. Yeah, Mo being the bartender in it is really good.
Yeah, it's, and I would even go as far to say that whole episode is the best Treehouse of Horror as well. With
is that the one too where
toaster?
Yeah, and where Willie, it has the running joke where Willie fails to save them.
Gets axed in the back. Yeah,
3 times. Yeah.
Then it ends with the teachers at school cooking the kids and eating them, and there's Uderbraten.
Could say that we killed Uder, and he's in our stomachs right now. This is good. Yeah.
But yeah, no, this like I wish Steven Weber was able to do more because he's a good actor. I will say that. Like, I feel like he has been underused by Hollywood as an apparatus.
I mean, we talked about it. Wings, great. Being stabbed in the eye with a stiletto in Single White Female, great. That one episode of Party Down where he's a Russian mobster who also is really obsessed with niche television, great. Yeah. And he's great in this as well. So I was reading up on Wings, just like, you know, as you do when you go on little internet rabbit holes, like, because I remember watching Wings over and over again. I had forgotten that the reason that Joe and Brian had a falling out is that Brian, Steven Weber's character, ran off with Joe's wife. I'd forgotten that that's why the brothers didn't get along, and then they reconciled after she left him too. Yeah, tale as old as time.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think like, again, I think that you're doing the miniseries. Like, they could have gone into some of the history of the hotel, like done more flashbacks and things. I mean, I'm sure they were budget limited, and that is probably part of it. But speaking of budget limited, one interesting bit of casting is that the lady in the tub is played by Mick Garris's wife. So that's fun.
That is fun. Yeah.
And yeah, she frequently shows she is a working actress. It's not like it was just a cameo, but she was also in his adaptation of The Shining, and she's shown up in a lot of other things. So
you said The Shining. Did you mean The Stand?
The Stand. I did mean The Stand.
Yeah. She played the
but
woman
yeah.
in the tub, right?
In the stand, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in The Shining, she plays Susan Stern, one of the Boulder Free Zone committee that, has to figure out how to deal with Randall Flagg.
While in the tub.
While in the tub, yes. Always in a tub, that one.
It's her one demand. That's her, Daniel Day-Lewis-esque acting thing, is that she's like, I got to be in a tub.
Got to be in a tub the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very curious about the third episode because it literally feels like it has almost half of the book to do in 88 minutes.
I think they'll do it.
I know they do.
Yeah, I think they're going to hit all the major story beats. I think.
And we still have to wait to see. The dog mask did show up, so that's already boding well for something to come later on.
We're still, just to remind everyone who listened last week, we're waiting to see Dick Halloran's Bachelor Pad to know how it stacks up against the 70s one.
Against Scatman Crothers.
Yeah.
I feel like Melvin Van Peebles' Bachelor Pad is also probably pretty great.
Well, if they filmed at his house, undoubtedly. But, if
did they use a set? Because as we mentioned last week, I do feel like that was Scatman Crothers' house that they shot that in. They're just like, don't come into work today. We'll send a camera to you.
Definitely his art, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, objectively. But yeah, there's like, it sort of sucks for this that it has to compare to Stanley Kubrick because there is some good like camera work. There is some good scares. There are a lot of good things that are well done, but nothing compared to the Stanley Kubrick movie.
If you had to remake a Stanley Kubrick movie to be more faithful to the source material, which one would you go with?
Barry Lyndon.
But that one's also really good. Like his Barry Lyndon is like everything looks like a painting. Like the cinematography is beautiful in that movie.
Barry Lyndon's amazing. No, it probably wouldn't be Barry Lyndon. See, it's tough. Like I haven't read Red Alert or the book that Full Metal Jacket's based on. I don't want to interact with Dream Story again. That book was weird.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna pass. I'm not gonna try to outdo Stanley Kubrick in the name of being more faithful to the source material. That's my take.
You know what I would do if it was up to me. What I think I would do more faithful adaptation of Moon Landing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's not a bad choice.
Yeah, he did a good job, but I'm like, I think I could do it better now with the effects we have now, because he was doing that in the 60s.
That's true. Yeah. I also might take a stab at AI, artificial intelligence.
Oh man. Well, that you have an advantage there, which is that Spielberg came in and ruined that movie. So it gives you a lot more wiggle room.
I would love to read the Kubrick treatment of that to see like where his ended and like what happened. And
well, I know that the ending is tacked on. I know that was a Spielberg thing. The
aliens coda.
Yeah, that was Spielberg. That I am.
Or the giant robot alien weirdo
thing.
But
where he gets to spend like the one day with his mom. That was all Spielberg. That was not in the. I think the original is he's just haunted with the like knowledge, like where they just leave him and he's just like there and he's like just remembers everything. And
well, if the credits roll with him face to face with the Blue Fairy statue, that's a great ending.
I think that is about where the original ended.
Yeah, I don't know. That like we could probably do a whole episode about AI. I'm pretty sure it's maligned. Or if not, it should be.
That hack Steven Spielberg coming in and ruin someone else's movie.
Yeah. What has he ever done? Who's he ever beaten?
Well, I think it's, the karmic justice that he got for doing that is that for the rest of his life, every few years, someone will come along and ruin Jurassic Park. So I think it actually does balance out.
And if we do AI, it wouldn't be the first Spielberg movie that we've done, because we did do Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
That's true.
And that movie's awful.
That movie is awful, and that's his fault too. Look, here's the thing. Spielberg gonna go down as the greatest blockbuster filmmaker of all time, and deservedly so. And I don't think anyone would even argue against that. But you don't make that many movies without some of them being not good. That's just math.
He's been pretty prolific in his 50-odd year movie career. And a couple duds. Duds.
He also, didn't he direct the second Jurassic Park? So he did a bad Jurassic Park. Which is also
bad, yeah.
Yeah, so...
He also did a bad Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
But it might be the third best, which is wild.
Well, because only one of them is good.
The first Jurassic World is at least fun. I'll concede that.
I said the word good. So
okay. I didn't say it was good either. I said it was fun.
Yeah.
The other ones are not fun.
No, they're just bad now.
Yeah, I didn't see Rebirth, but it's coming to streaming soon, so I'll probably watch it.
By the way, just to tie it all together, Jurassic Park in the conversation for, I mean, I like both, and I read the book, but the book versus movie conversation, because there are some big differences between the two.
And it's tough to say, like, I love what David Attenborough does. Or no, Richard Attenborough. David Attenborough's the nature guy. Richard Attenborough.
Richard, yeah.
I love what he does as Hammond, but I like the idea of Hammond being more of a pure villain the way he is in the book. That's
there's
one area.
There's a lot of redemption of that character in the movie.
Because he's played by Santa. Like, that's,
That's true.
But no, the movie Jurassic Park is awesome. I think the book just gets to go into a little bit more depth in some things, like fleshes some things out where the movie kind of rushes and hand waves some like physics and geography in order to make cool action scenes. Yeah. Which I'm fine with.
Well, and there's some trolling of Neil deGrasse Tyson et al. In the like picking cool dinosaurs that don't really make sense for like because Crichton was very into the like scientifically accurate dinosaurs, and the movie's like, yeah, but it'd be cool to have these dinosaurs.
Right. Yeah. But again, Jurassic Park is an amazing movie. And Crichton, I think, was happy with the movie as well, even though it did deviate from his source material.
What we're trying to say is, Steven, let it go. Let it go. Let it go. It's fine. It's fine that it happened. The movie's good. You turned out okay. They're now making your Walk Really Long Time movie.
Yeah.
Your dream project.
Yeah, the dream project. They're finally making that book that you had to write under a pen name because no one knew who you were yet.
And because it was real thin. Because it was just like, what if they walk a long time?
It's a walking monster. Ooh.
I've not read the book. I've not seen the movie, but it feels perhaps like Stephen King's thinnest premise yet.
Stephen King is so prolific that I'm not willing to get on board with that statement, but I could see it fleshing out to be that is accurate, but dude's written a lot of books.
Okay, so they have to walk. All right. And if they stop walking, they die. Okay.
All right. But if they keep walking, they win a prize.
Okay.
All right. Give me 500 pages by next week.
It's like the Hunger Games if instead of doing stuff, they just walked.
Yeah. Instead of hunting people down to kill them, they just walk.
Mm-hmm.
They just walk. 300 or 400 people. They just got out and walked.
Silver Linings Playback is a production of HoboTrashcan.com. If you enjoyed the show, please rate or review it on Apple Podcasts. Hear more great shows on the Peak Sloth Podcast Network.